¿Se han dado cuenta que últimamente cada vez que un republicano MAGA habla, lo único que hace es admitir qué tan tonto es? Aunque no siempre lo dice con las mismas palabras. Por ejemplo, la representante Paulina Luna, una títere muy seguidora de Donald Trump, ciertamente encontró una nueva forma de hacerlo cuando apareció dentro de la cadena MSNBC. Y creo que sin darse cuenta nos logró exponer a todos qué tan tonta puede llegar a ser. Porque claro, ahí se expuso a humillación tras humillación y se delató mentira tras mentira. Tanto fue así que ella tuvo que ser expulsada del aire. Y sabes, más presentadores deberían de hacer cosas como esta. Y justamente eso es lo que vamos a ver en este video. Pero quédate hasta el final porque quiero que analicemos también lo que Ro Khanna está diciendo sobre esta aplicación de poderes de guerra. Porque sí, todo lo que te voy a contar es importante para lograr el cometido de que Donald Trump rinda cuentas. Pero para llegar al punto de que Donald Trump rinda cuentas, sí o sí que los medios tradicionales comiencen a decir las noticias reales. Y eso fue lo que vimos en este clip. Miren por favor.
For over 40 years, the Iranian government and regime has been responsible for the deaths of thousands upon thousands of Americans, not to mention state-sponsored terrorism. And so did the president do the right thing? Has he been consistent in this? Absolutely.
Can you just tell me really quickly, where have they killed thousands of Americans in America?
I didn't say they killed thousands of Americans in America. I said that they have been responsible for thousands of Americans being killed. And I think that that's easily something that you can verify. I don't know, state-sponsored terrorism for starters. Are you serious right now about that whole thing? I'm not going to list out exact specific locations. They've literally been responsible for sponsored terrorism.
Are you talking about the Iraq war where the U.S. invaded Iraq?
You can start out by the three that they just killed. Okay, the whole point of your network, if you want to actually talk about the facts here, I'm giving you the facts. But I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about something that's commonly accepted and known.
Congresswoman, you don't have a good understanding of the
conflict. Well, I'm the one that's getting the briefings, not you. You're a pundit offering your opinion because you want clickbait, but aren't actually interested in the substance.
No, not at all.
We can talk about the fact that Obama sent millions upon millions of dollars to the Iranian regime, or do you not want to address that because it's not supported by your opinion and your network?
No, not at all.
Is this really even something that we're going to actually get to substance here, or are you going to continue to attack this?
No, it seems like you just want to filibuster. It seems like you don't really want to have a good faith conversation.
Or you just don't like what I'm saying.
No, we would have invited you on the air.
This happens every time I'm on with you.
Yeah, and you keep coming on every time, and you keep stating a lot of things that are incorrect.
Because
the United States launched an attack on Iran.
About it, except for you.
The United States launched a war against Iran right now. Iran retaliated, in which American members.
Strikes.
You can call it whatever you want to call it, but at the end of the day, the Iranians responded and killed 3 American service members. So what we're trying to get at is you make an assertion on this air that it's not an invasion when America sends fighter jets and Israel sends fighter jets into another country.
Boots on the ground are not going to happen. Congress will not vote on war with Iran because that is not something that we support, and that is not something that the administration supports.
That's actually what the Constitution says that in Article 1, but I guess you think Article 2 is more important, so it's up to you.
Article 2 is when the U.S. citizens and our military are in direct imminent threat, the president reserves the authority.
Yeah, well, he hasn't made that case to the American public or Congress, and that's the problem. And that's why he's supposed to go to Congress.
He's not going to give you classified intelligence
information. He's not supposed to give it to me. He's supposed to give it to members of Congress. He's supposed to go give it to members of Congress. That's exactly why members of Congress. You're only one. There are 435 members and 100 senators, and others have not gotten it. You're not the only one who gets to speak on behalf of the American people.
Prior to the strike.
Anyway, unfortunately, we're out of time.
There was actually a briefing
really appreciate you coming
on. There you go. You don't want to hear the facts. They got a briefing.
It's not a fact. I'm telling you what other members of Congress have said, and that's the whole point of them being able to have a debate in Congress.
Congress was notified.
That's not what members of Congress say, but really appreciate you coming on here and saying something different. Congresswoman Paulina Luna. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Sabes, estos republicanos deberían de ser tratados más duramente cuando van a los medios. Porque sí, son tontos, son personas que nos quieren mentir todos los días. Y lo peor de todo es que lo hacen de una forma muy obvia. Yo creo que es porque ellos entienden qué tan tontos pueden llegar a ser sus seguidores más legítimos. Ya saben, estos seguidores MAGA. Y estos políticos se han acostumbrado a que le pueden dar cualquier basofia a sus seguidores MAGA y ellos se lo van a creer. Porque sí, se han dado cuenta de que estos seguidores profundos de MAGA, seguidores aférrimos de MAGA, no son nada más que borregos, personas que forman parte de un ganado y que son fáciles de dominar. Pero de nuevo, esto es lo que los medios tradicionales están haciendo. Esta debería de ser su respuesta ante todas las mentiras flagrantes que se dicen en los programas. Porque sí, deberían de decir que ya están hartos. Donald Trump ha puesto en peligro a demasiadas personas en el país. Donald Trump le miente al Congreso, literalmente está ocultando información del público y ni siquiera es capaz de salir y dar la cara ante su propio pueblo. Sabes, yo considero que en este punto no debería de haber otra conversación más que cómo detener este plan maligno de Donald Trump. Cómo sacarlo de esta presidencia. Porque sí, si Donald Trump no sale de la presidencia lo antes posible, evidentemente va a continuar con este plan bélico. Y sí, ahora escuchamos a muchos demócratas decir que hay que esperar el proceso y el proceso. Pero te aseguro que estos mismos que están pidiendo proceso, luego van a tener miedo de salir y apoyar la ley de poderes de guerra. Ley que, por cierto, el representante Ro Khanna está impulsando. Una ley de poderes de guerra por la cual no vimos al liderazgo demócrata. Ellos no se han movido en absoluto por esto en 2 semanas. Más. Me pregunto cuál podría ser la razón de eso con sus declaraciones tibias. Todo esto en respuesta al ataque ilegal de Donald Trump. Su guerra ilegal con Irán, tal vez es porque están de acuerdo con esto. Y la verdad ni siquiera me sorprendería. Porque sabes, incluso muchos de sus grandes donantes también están de acuerdo. Recuerden que esta guerra no solo es una guerra para distraernos de los archivos de Jeffrey Epstein, sino que para Israel es una guerra importante. Una guerra por la cual ya han muerto casi 10 estadounidenses. Y créeme que yo estoy seguro de que a Netanyahu no le mueve ni siquiera una gota de sangre escuchar esto. Pero sabes, yo considero que los demócratas, todos los que puedan, tienen que dar un paso al frente con Ro Khanna. Quiero que hablemos de la ley de poderes de guerra, pero primero quiero que escuchemos a Ro Khanna. Mira, por favor. La verdad, yo no me imagino en qué lugar estaríamos.
And Senator Graham arguing that the IRGC is at war with the U.S. Democratic leaders, obviously you are co-sponsoring a bill with Congressman Massey to force a vote on the War Powers Resolution. Congressman, do you think you have enough votes for this to pass?
Is going to be very close, but I believe we will have every Democrat. I can't believe it. There's going to be a Democrat who wants to vote for another war in the Middle East. And then you have not just Congressman Massey, you have Congressman Davidson, Congressman Biggs. There are a number of people on the Republican side who agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, Donald Trump said that the Iraq war was a disaster. He said Libya was a disaster. He ran because a big part of the MAGA base did not want another war in the Middle East. They rejected Lindsey Graham. And yet here we have Lindsey Graham being the face of Republican foreign policy, as is evidenced by the fact that he was your lead guest. I mean, I believe this is a betrayal of a decent chunk of the MAGA base.
But you believe that you ultimately can eke out enough votes for the War Powers Resolution, which would require the White House to go to Congress for more military action in Iran? You think you can get this passed?
It depends if we can keep several Democrats in line, Josh Gottheimer, Congressman Markowitz, folks who have been on the fence. But I believe that this is a disastrous vote for any Democrat to vote for Donald Trump's war in the Middle East. So I hope we will hold the line. And then, like I said, there are a few Republicans who share Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson and others, Rand Paul's view, and we've got to make the case to them. It'll be a close vote. Right now, I'd say it's 40-60 to pass, but we've got a few days to work on it.
Some House Democrats, as you know, have actually already come out against this resolution in the aftermath of the strikes. Here's what Democratic Congressman, you just mentioned him, Greg Landsman, said: I don't support the resolution, which would require us to completely abandon our allies. The strikes are an attempt to prevent further war, not start one. Does he have a point, Congressman?
Just look at it with common sense. I mean, even Lindsey Graham said we're at war. Of course we're at war with Iran. We killed their leader. We have over 100 of our fighter jets bombing them. The point of this resolution is to say we do not want another war in the Middle East, or at least Congress should opine on that, should vote on that. And if you're not voting for this War Powers resolution, you basically have Lindsey Graham's view, which is that the president gets to decide wars. I admire this part about Lindsey Graham. He's at least intellectually consistent. He doesn't believe in the war powers. He believes the president has authority to go into war. He is chair-led for the war in Iraq, for the war in Libya, for 20 years in Afghanistan. And he's basically, that's his viewpoint. So either you are on the side of no more Middle East wars or you're on the side of Lindsey Graham. That's what this vote is about.
Congressman, what would a war powers resolution do at this point to limit the administration, given that they've already launched this military offensive?
Well, that's exactly when the war powers resolution is supposed to kick in. If the president launches an attack, the Congress can say, no, you need to stop unless you have Congress's authority. It actually should be an easy vote now. It would have been a harder vote if the president hadn't taken action, because people could say he's just bluffing, he's building up support so that we could get a deal. But now that he's taken action, this is exactly when you need the war powers resolution. If we pass it in the House and the Senate, it would be an enormous message to the president. And of course, if it passes and he signs it, it would restrict his action.
Let me talk to you about one of the big headlines before the strikes against Iran this week, the fallout over the Epstein files. As you well know, former President Bill Clinton testified before the House Oversight Committee behind closed doors, saying, quote, he had no idea of the crimes that Epstein was committing. Do you have any outstanding questions for President Bill Clinton about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, Congressman?
When the transcript comes out, I think people will see that he answered every question. I actually think they'll see that some of the Democrats asked him tougher questions than even the Republicans. And he sat there. He didn't take the fifth. He answered every question fully. And the American people will be able to decide on what they believe. The point, though, is that President Clinton has set a precedent, a new Clinton rule. That means that Donald Trump should do the same, answer the questions. Howard Lutnick should do the same. I'm working with a Republican actually to subpoena Howard Lutnick next week, and I believe he will come before the committee. And every person who went to that island or who corresponded with Epstein about going to his mansion should be called under oath to tell us what they knew.
So you're going to subpoena Howard Lutnick. Do you plan to subpoena President Trump, and do you believe you have the votes to subpoena President Trump to testify before the committee?
We have the votes to subpoena Lutnick. I don't believe we have the votes right now to subpoena President Trump, because the Republicans control the House, and I don't think they would vote with us on that. But when Robert Garcia is chair of the Oversight Committee, we will have those votes. And the Clinton rule means that Donald Trump and his family members should testify. By the way, he should do it voluntarily. I mean, he should look at what President Clinton did. He answered every question. Why can't Donald Trump do the same? There's this question of these 3 FBI interviews. There's someone who made allegations against Donald Trump that she was sexually abused as a minor. I want to be very clear. There's no evidence whether that's true or not, but there were allegations made. One of those witness interviews was released. 3 of them are hidden by the Justice Department. Why are they hidden? When will they be released? These are the types of questions Donald Trump needs to answer.
Y Ro Khanna no estuviera liderando básicamente el Partido Demócrata. Aunque no lo haga de forma oficial, lo está demostrando. Al menos lo hace dentro de la Cámara y lo está haciendo ahora. Hemos necesitado desesperadamente el liderazgo de Ro Khanna, ahora más que nunca. Tenemos que recordar que la ley de poderes de guerra es algo por lo que literalmente estaban cerrando el Congreso. Todo esto para evitar que llegue al Pleno. Todo para evitar que llegue a votación. Y sí, tienes que recordar que los republicanos han hecho hasta lo imposible por alargar esto, por cancelar las votaciones, todo porque no le conviene a Donald Trump. Pero sabes, tenemos que asegurarnos de que suceda. Ro Khanna ciertamente lo está haciendo. Thomas Massie ciertamente también lo está haciendo. Y no se preocupen, en este programa los vamos a mantener informados. Y si este video te gustó, te pido de todo corazón que te suscribas al canal, ya que tu apoyo, créeme que nos va a hacer llegar a 100.000 suscriptores. Y nada más que decir, amigos, mi nombre es José Alvarado, soy economista y estoy comprometido a informarlos diariamente. Nos vemos en el siguiente video. Adiós.